Barbecue season is here and you don't even need to go outside. Today, I'm gonna share the ultimate guide to Korean barbecue at home. If you've never had Korean barbecue before, it's a really communal experience where you cook the food at the table with your friends and family. Not only is it fun, there's dips, side dishes, drinks, and of course meat that's delicious. Thanks to Agoura Rd for sponsoring this video. Let's start by going over the tools you'll need for a Korean barbecue at home. One of the essential things that you need is a burner like this one. You guys have always seen me use this burner right here in all of my videos. It's by Itawani and it uses a butane tank to heat it up. And for the grill, I found this multi-compartment one on Amazon. If you guys want, I'll have it linked in the description box below. You could of course use like a flat top grill pan, but I like this one because it's very similar to the ones that they use at the Korean barbecue restaurants because it has like these cool sections where you can add like corn cheese, egg, garlic, vegetables so that it doesn't touch the meat. Of course, we use tongs, and then the easiest way to cut the meat, scissors. I'm a big fan of using these scissors to cut everything from meat to veggies to noodles. Also, I would say another essential tool that you need is a fan because you're gonna need really good ventilation. So now you've sat down, you've ordered your drinks. I'm gonna get into the drinks later in the video, but this is when they bring out the banchans. Banchans to me are kind of like Korean barbecue appetizers, and they're usually consist of pickled vegetables. But here I have pickled radish, some soybean sprouts, kimchi of course, and then these jalapeno and onion marinated in soy sauce. The acidity of the banchan is really important because it cuts through the fattiness of the meat. You could of course pick up the banchans at your local Korean market, but it's also fun to make your own, and I have a recipe from my cookbook which is this spicy pickled cucumbers, or also called oi kimchi. So I'm gonna start by chopping up my Persian cucumbers into like 1/2-inch rounds. Then I'm gonna salt it thoroughly and then let it sit for about 15 to 20 minutes to drain out the liquid. In the meantime, we're gonna make our sauce. So in another bowl, I'm gonna add 2 teaspoons of rice vinegar, 1 teaspoon of sesame oil, 1/2 teaspoon of toasted sesame seeds, 1 garlic clove that I've already minced, 1 teaspoon of sugar, 1 teaspoon of fish sauce, and 2 teaspoons of gochugaru for that nice vibrant red color. Give it a mix and then rinse and drain our cucumbers and pour it into our sauce. Along with the banchans come the dips. Here I just have a mix of salt and pepper, and then you pour in some toasted sesame oil. It's great for dipping like the less fatty cuts of meat. You get a little bit of saltiness and then the nuttiness of the sesame oil. Then I like to use samjang, which is what I'd say a cross between gochujang and fermented chili paste, a soybean paste that's more like a version of miso. Now for the most important part of the meal, the meats. Because Korean barbecue is so meat driven, it's really important to use the best cuts available. I'm gonna be using the Merlot cut, petite Denver cut, and of course the LA Kalbi or Korean short ribs for today's video, all ordered from Agoura Rd, an online butcher shop that delivers high quality meat directly to our door. They offer a wide variety of dry aged beef, pork, and chicken, including rare butcher cuts. You can get 15% off your first order. Just click on the link in the description box and the promotion will be automatically applied. So the Merlot and the petite Denver cuts here are probably cuts that you've never seen at the grocery stores, like ever. This is a Merlot steak and it's cut from the upper leg, and each cow only yields 2, making it a really hard to find butcher's cut. This cut is dense and lean, and it's best cooked hot and fast, served rare. The petite Denver cut is a section of the cow's shoulder called the chuck flap. It's a dry-aged steak that's beautifully marbled, works perfectly for Korean barbecue because it's best seared on a hot grill to lock in the flavor. Now, a cut that you're definitely familiar with if you've ever been to Korean barbecue is the Korean short ribs or LA Kalbi. Korean short ribs are cut from thin cross-section of the first 4 or 5 ribs of the cow where there is a nice ratio of meat to bone. Korean short ribs are amazing when marinated, and charred on a grill. Now to make the marinade, in a blender, we're gonna add a 1/4 cup of soy sauce, a 1/4 cup of brown sugar, a 1/4 cup of sake or rice wine, 2 tablespoons of sesame oil, a 1/4 teaspoon of gochujang, which is fermented chili paste, Korean style, 1 medium onion peeled and quartered, 6 to 8 garlic cloves, a cup of Asian pear. I got this at the Korean market, but you can always use an apple or kiwi if you'd like. A 1-inch chunk of ginger peeled, and then you just blend it all up. So after you make the marinade, always give it a quick taste. The Asian pear can be pretty sweet sometimes and it can overpower, so I think I'm gonna add a little bit more salt to mine. Our marinade's in the bowl. Now I'm just gonna sprinkle in a little bit of toasted sesame seeds and some green onions, and then we'll go ahead and place the kalbi or Korean short ribs directly into the bowl to marinate for about an hour to overnight. Now let's talk about the vegetables because we need to balance out all of that meat. For Korean barbecue, I love adding some peppers, squash, mushrooms, onions right on the grill along with the meats. I also love making lettuce wraps with the grilled meat, so I always have an abundance of lettuce leaves to make a little meat purse too. I'll throw in some pickled veggies, meat, a little bit of rice, and you have the perfect bite. All right, let's grill up our meats. I'll fill the grill with some cheese and corn. Add the garlic here. A little bit of kimchi in here. Grilled kimchi is a revelation, so you guys should definitely try that. And then I just add some green onions, sesame seeds, and some eggs that I've already scrambled to make almost like an egg souffle. We'll grill the petite Denver and the Merlot cuts first. I'll sear it on each side and then we'll just cut it up with the scissors. All right, now let's do the kalbi. I usually save this towards the end because it has sugar and it just tends to burn. So grill all the other stuff first. I would say rule of thumb, about 2 minutes on each side for the kalbi if it's not marinated. And then for the thicker cuts, you should do 5 to 7 minutes on each side. Also for the petite Denver, if you wanted it to be kind of like a sliced bulgogi meat, that would be really good too. But I just chose to keep it whole like this. Go ahead and throw on the mushrooms, the onions to let them caramelize as you're grilling up the meats so you can enjoy them all together at once. If you guys want to check out Agoura Rd, you can shop like you would at the local butcher by ordering items a la carte. They also offer subscriptions, which I have been using for the past 8 months. We always go for the butcher's choice for a nice variety with steaks and chops that arrive fresh and never frozen. And then this is how I like to build my meat purse. I always add a little piece of meat, some of the pickled banchans. I usually go for the bean sprouts, the kimchi, the cucumbers, a little bit of rice, and then just a little swipe of our samjang. And this is what I love about Korean barbecue, the variety of flavors, and each bite can be its own custom experience to get that perfect bite. We'll wash everything down with our Korean soju. I hope you guys enjoyed this Korean barbecue feast at home. Happy barbecuing, give this video a thumbs up, and konbae.